There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark. She's not apologizing for saying that there should be no men in this woman's sport. It's caused an absolute crisis, and people are losing their mind. Photo of Brittney Griner with a full beard after being released from a Russian prison.
The WNBA's Brittney Griner is a man.
Brittney Griner files for divorce from wife.
That's not a woman. That's not a female. That's not even a trans person. That is a man.
Every player should be subjected to a DNA test to prove that they're women.
Brittney Griner is, in fact...
Welcome back to the Clark Update. I am back with another breakdown for you today. We have covered Brittney Griner in some of our previous videos, but what we are diving into today is on a whole different level. We are unpacking a massive controversy sparking major debates among WNBA fans, focusing on Benny Johnson's viral comments, Sophie Cunningham's raw reaction, and the absolute latest updates on this story. So you definitely want to stick around until the very end because we have a ton of drama to unpack here. Let us get right into the action. The actual epicenter of this massive cultural and administrative earthquake in the WNBA is moving way faster than league executives ever could have anticipated. Look, this comes down to pure cultural power.
This is, again, cultural power. This is why the WNBA this is not going to go away. This issue is not going to go away. They're in such a bad position here. Caitlin Clark, they have cultural power. People love them. People are buying tickets that would never care about the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
These women spent $1,000 on tickets to attend the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream game, specifically to see Sophie.
She is shattering all kinds of attendance records and pulling in historic ratings. Yet another player decided to stand up for women and female spaces. And now, that same athlete is getting heavily criticized by other women just because she does not support transgender athletes competing in female sports. We are talking about Sophie Cunningham. Many of you probably recognize her from these clips, but she recently found herself in hot water simply for having the audacity to say that women and young girls need to be protected. Now, league executives are caught in a major bind as Sophie Cunningham, a standout guard for the Indiana Fever, steps up. She has sparked a massive national movement by demanding that female athletes should never be forced to compete against biological men. By taking this unyielding stance, she is fighting hard to protect both women's professional sports and their private locker rooms.
There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark.
WNBA star Sophie Cunningham, who plays guard for the Indiana Fever, when an ESPN feature quoted her opposition towards biological men competing in women's sports. She said she wanted to protect young girls, both on court as well as in the locker room, calling her position kind of common sense. It has everything to do.
In response, fans across the country rallied by filling up stadiums to support both Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, completely ignoring the mainstream media critics trying to silence them. Think about this. A women's league, run entirely by women, actually decided that a shirt saying for the girls was just too offensive to allow. Meanwhile, State Farm Arena will gladly flash a pro-trans message on the massive video board, but they refuse to allow a simple shirt stating basic biological facts. I mean, what is actually so offensive or terrifying about a message like that? It is a message about genetics and biological sex. It is wild because it seems like the WNBA does not even know what a woman is anymore. They have literally banned any shirts referencing the XX chromosomes from being worn inside the arena. But this whole dispute erupted into a major national spectacle when prominent media commentators like Benny Johnson jumped into the fray, exposing what they see as absolute institutional hypocrisy. What started as simple court commentary has quickly spiraled into a high-stakes battle over fan censorship. We are talking about unfair practices and the very foundation of women's professional basketball.
Brittney Griner's voice.
I believe what you said was effing white girl. Is it possible that's what you said?
No, would never say that.
Brittney Griner called Caitlin Clark trash and effing white girl. Trash, effing white girl.
Brittney Griner, who I can't stand, sad that she's a Baylor grad. She called her a trash expletive white girl. That was the lip reading. Yes, trash white girl.
All of this drama unfolded during a wild matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream at State Farm Arena. It was a night where the incredible cultural draw of both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham was on full display. Look, thousands of passionate fans paid top dollar just to witness Clark's generational playmaking talent and support Cunningham. But this sudden incident quickly turned into a massive administrative nightmare for the league security team. Yeah, they basically handed us t-shirts during overtime and told us we had to leave the arena. And the shirt says for the girls, or we had to cover up. This literally just happened. So, where were you sitting? Section 443, row 3. Yeah, the third row of floor 3. And how much were your seats? $1,000 each. And we literally did nothing. Like, we were not doing anything, we were just sitting there. It did not make sense. During overtime, several spectators wearing XXXY brand t-shirts with a very simple message for the girls in support of female athletic integrity were confronted by stadium employees and told to either cover up those shirts or leave the premises immediately. Both the WNBA and the Atlanta Dream were forced to put out official public statements acknowledging that arena security should never have restrained those paying fans, especially after that heavy-handed enforcement sparked an immediate viral uproar across social media, racking up millions of views in no time.
WNBA, of course, doesn't want to make anything political. Here they are welcoming the Honorable Stacey Abrams. The Honorable Stacey Abrams. Well, what has she done that's honorable? What's dishonorable is that at that same game, a mother wore a XXXY athletics for the girls with her daughter apparel. This is a brand that, of course, is defending women in women's sports, and she got kicked out of the game. And you can see there somebody a fan flipping them off, whether this is a board member, potentially. Look at this. Whether that's a board member of the WNBA, but she doesn't know what a woman is, right? Like, what are these?
Political leaders get praised from the very rooftops, while paying supporters who hold basic biological beliefs are censored, creating a really striking contrast. But as commentators like Benny Johnson pointed out these completely ridiculous double standards currently at work, that on-court triumph was soon completely eclipsed by the mounting pressure around the league's much larger eligibility crisis. There was a massive, overwhelming demand for the WNBA to finally implement objective, science-based eligibility rules. So, why is the WNBA seemingly unable to define what a woman is? I mean, we all know what a woman is. Under the hood, chromosome by chromosome, you are a man. And you cannot change your chromosomes. Sure, you can get plastic surgery and you can lop off body parts. You can put on lipstick, you can wear wigs, but you simply cannot change that reality. So, why not just define it based on the biological gender assigned at birth? You are born with specific sex organs and you are born with these exact chromosomes. So, that is exactly what makes you a woman. The WNBA has literally spent 6 full days trying to figure out what the W in WNBA even stands for, and they still have not come up with anything. Commentator Johnson noted that major podcasters like Joe Rogan are now publicly debating those long-standing rumors about potential male involvement in women's professional sports leagues, even with the league refusing to provide precise biological definitions in its own governing documents. The entire sport is experiencing some serious paranoia, all because corporate leadership is unwilling to step up and address these basic issues, which has now shined a bright spotlight on high-profile veteran stars, while raising totally unsubstantiated concerns about player testing in the past. And when that internet chatter focused heavily on Phoenix Mercury center Brittney Griner, the scrutiny reached a complete fever pitch. This quickly triggered a wave of institutional panic that could easily threaten to destroy the league's legitimacy entirely. Look, there is a clear reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and fans are starting to pack out arenas just to watch her and Caitlin Clark play. And she is not apologizing at all for saying there should be no men in this women's sport. It has caused a total crisis, and people are losing their minds over a photo of Brittney Griner showing her with a full beard after being released from a Russian prison. Brittney Griner files for divorce from her wife. That is not a woman. That is not a female. That is not even a trans person. That is a man. Every player should be subjected to a DNA test to prove that they are indeed women. Brittney Griner is, in fact, just a man. This intense public scrutiny surrounding Brittney Griner, the center for the Phoenix Mercury, clearly shows just how much the WNBA's administrative ambiguity has completely undermined public confidence. Online sports talk quickly shifted to past player biographies and long-standing league policies, especially as media personalities like Benny Johnson started magnifying this current Sophie Cunningham scandal. Many commentators began questioning whether league officials have been deliberately avoiding any required genetic or chromosomal testing, pointing to previous interviews, viral social media debates, and historical player trades, which includes Griner's highly publicized international return. The fact that online rumors and viral social media comments about Brittney Griner's gender are dominating sports headlines right now highlights a major breakdown in WNBA leadership. Even though these rumors remain entirely unverified, serving as products of chaotic online discourse rather than any official findings from the league itself, it shows that even the league's most famous legacy stars are incredibly vulnerable. to these wild public rumors because league executives refuse to establish precise, objective biological guidelines. She was the Rookie of the Year. She finished 4th in MVP voting. And Caitlin Clark is a true superstar. Honestly, she is the Michael Jordan of women's basketball, the player young girls have been waiting for forever. Caitlin Clark is a major rising star in women's basketball, pulling in some truly massive viewership numbers. Caitlin Clark is the ultimate needle mover. She is the franchise player, and she plays like a true league MVP. She is clearly the main draw here, even if she was not the one sprinting full speed down the court. She is my role model, and I really look up to her. Why do you like Caitlin? Mostly because she is just so good at basketball. Because she is just an awesome person, and she has this incredible, undeniable aura around her. Caitlin Clark represents the perfect example of what makes women's professional basketball so incredible, even in the middle of this massive administrative storm. Clark's remarkable ascent has never been the result of cheap performance platitudes or empty political posturing. It is based solely on her extraordinary talent, an unwavering work ethic, and exceptional skill. Millions of passionate new fans have embraced the sport because of her deep logo, three-pointers, mind-blowing court vision, and ferocious competitive fire. Caitlin Clark is literally packing out historic arenas, skyrocketing team valuations all on her own, and proving beyond a doubt that fans will show up to support true athletic brilliance. Every single time Caitlin Clark steps onto the hardwood, she carries the entire weight of the league's cultural and financial future, all while WNBA executives struggle to handle their public relations issues and dodge tough choices. Ultimately, the WNBA must realize they can no longer hide behind hypocrisy or try to intimidate fans who support the preservation of female athletes. The basketball public is demanding complete transparency, genuinely fair competition, and basic common sense, which we saw clearly with those recent security blunders at State Farm Arena and the massive backlash directed at Sophie Cunningham. WNBA executives need to update their official governing documents immediately to establish clear, objective biological standards that will safeguard female competitors and restore real integrity to the sport. The league absolutely owes it to both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, along with every single athlete on the floor, to protect the very game they have worked so hard to build. They have given fans a loud voice and brought an unprecedented level of intensity to women's basketball. What is your take on those remarks from Benny Johnson and the ongoing controversy over WNBA eligibility rules? Do you believe the league's senior leadership can actually handle this crisis? Or should they mandate strict biological testing immediately to protect female competitors? Drop your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you want more consistent, objective, fact-based coverage of the WNBA, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on those notifications. And honestly, that is right where this entire conversation leaves us today. What originally kicked off as a debate around Sophie Cunningham and her outspoken opinions has transformed into something far bigger than just one player, one franchise, or even a single controversial game. It has exploded into a massive national conversation regarding the absolute future of women's professional basketball, the regulations governing the entire sport, the rights of the fans, and the heavy responsibility professional leagues must carry when personal emotions and politics collide with high-stakes competition. Whether you agree with Sophie Cunningham or completely disagree with her stance, one major truth is impossible to ignore: people are watching. Fans who probably never watched a single WNBA game before are suddenly talking about this league and buying up tickets, debating its policies, and packing out arenas to catch superstars like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham in action. That level of attention is gold for any professional sports league. But with all that attention comes real responsibility. This ongoing controversy over fan removals, for the girls' apparel line, and the broader conversation around eligibility has raised serious questions about league consistency. Fans want to know exactly what the rules are, why they exist, and whether they are being applied fairly to every single person. At the exact same time, these athletes deserve a professional environment where they can compete without being constantly reduced to viral drama, online rumors, or personal attacks. And this is precisely where the ongoing discussion surrounding Brittney Griner has to be handled with extreme care. Look, there are endless claims circulating across the internet about Brittney Griner, but viral posts, talking head commentary, edited photos, and social media speculation are simply not the same thing as verified, concrete evidence. We cannot treat these wild allegations as established facts without any reliable confirmation. No matter what your personal opinion is on WNBA policies, look, the strongest argument is always the one backed by hard evidence and official rules, along with transparent standards, not cheap rumors. That distinction matters because the WNBA is facing a genuinely unique moment in its history. Caitlin Clark has helped bring some serious, well-deserved attention to women's basketball. With her deep shooting range, elite passing, competitive mentality, and connection with younger fans, she is one of the sport's biggest names. When a player gets that influential, everything gets amplified. Every game gets more attention. Every minor controversy drives more clicks. Every statement can instantly turn into a headline, which is exactly why league leadership has a real opportunity right now. Rather than letting confusion dominate the talk, the WNBA can step up and provide real clarity. Instead of letting social media mobs define the rules, the league can explain its official policies publicly and consistently. And instead of letting fans, players, commentators, and front offices just talk past one another, league officials can establish a transparent framework that addresses player eligibility, competitive fairness, and fan conduct in a way that absolutely everyone can understand. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing is supposed to be about basketball. It is about the dedicated athletes who spend years training just to reach this level. It is about young girls watching from the stands, dreaming of becoming professional players someday. That also goes for the loyal fans who spend their hard-earned money on tickets. Most of all, it is about building a league strong enough to survive controversy without losing sight of the sport itself. Take the rise of Caitlin Clark, coupled with the outspoken personality of Sophie Cunningham, and all that massive attention surrounding the WNBA, it proves women's basketball has never had a bigger spotlight. But what happens next could define this league for years to come. Will the WNBA respond to criticism with transparency? Will it establish much clearer eligibility policies? Are players and fans going to keep pushing for real answers? Most importantly, can the league turn this controversy into a golden opportunity to build greater trust? Those are the big questions that remain. So now, I want to hear directly from you. Do you think the WNBA needs to communicate its eligibility policies much more clearly? Should fans be allowed to express their views inside arenas, provided they follow standard venue rules? And what is your take on all this growing attention surrounding Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham? Drop your honest opinions in the comments below because this conversation is clearly not going away anytime soon. And hey, if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next major WNBA story. Because with Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and the rest of this league constantly generating headlines, the next chapter could be even bigger. So stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, let's keep this conversation about women's basketball going strong. This entire story is far from over.